home. Corona will leave us, but the points that is being mentioned here will be for our life. All the very best. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
thanks.
And about few words about the speaker, Mr. Vidyashankar. Mr. Vidyashankar is the founder and CEO of Only Success and is a master trainer. And he has authored best-selling books. That is best-selling author. He is also a certified NLP practitioner. And Vidya is awarded the Indian Achiever Award for Industrial Excellence from the Indian Economy Development and Research Association. He has authored best-selling books and audio lessons. So I request Vidya to take over the session.
Just to make the session as I request all of you to, whatever the question you wanted to ask for it, there is a chat window. Please put your question. End of the session, Vidya will answer those things. So to Vidya, thank you.
Very good morning, all of you. So it's really wonderful to connect with all of you. And first of all, let me thank Hindu, right, and also Rajkumar for putting this together, right? Maybe this was one of the first association what we do in this phase with Hindu. So it was over 1.5 decades of association with them. Right, and apart from it, almost day in and day out, I have this wonderful opportunity of addressing hundreds of people, right? And right now, where we are in is, I will just check, just a quick thought. Maybe I'll be using extensively the chat window, being relatively a smaller audience, right? So one of the key thing which I would like to know to start with, hope it is English is fine, or you want me to mix of English Tamil, because I see a set of people who are who can't understand Tamil, right? And also there are few who have connected from overseas, right? So that was the reason why I thought, though it is organized by Hindu Tamil, right? I have to go ahead and use English as a language for this session. Hope that is fine, right? Just as I hear a lot of yes in the chat window, I'll move on, right? And moving on, if you ask what exactly this particular scenario, what we are going through, it is unheard of, it is unprecedented, right? And it is something completely what we are not prepared of. The biggest challenge right now is we are not prepared for this, and it is completely unheard of. If you go ahead check, maybe you can ask your parents, your grandparents, have they ever experienced something similar to that? Not exactly. Somebody who's alive right now has not seen this. So we have been taken off by a shock, right? It is an intense shock for a lot of us. Whenever we have this intense shock or intense uncertainty, we have multiple ways in which we can actually react to this situation, right? We can go ahead multiple ways, in the sense when we have intense shock, that leaves us with a lot of fear, right? When we have fear, the way we react to that fear is multifold, right? Many of us decide we can actually, maybe it's too difficult, we can't do much about it, right? I mean, so it is a feeling of failure, it's a feeling of giving up, right? So where we actually give up, where we just wait for things to happen and we feel completely, it's a gloomy feel, right? That is one choice we have. And the other choice is where we are just not bothered or just not worried, or what I will call it as indifferent. For the benefit of you who wanted Tamil, definitely I will repeat it, right? So some of you may feel, oh, it is indifferent, it is not something where you can't do much about it, kind of feeling, and just live it, right? Or the third feeling or the third emotion is this: oh, this is a feeling of fear. So how I can actually possibly use it to redo something, some part of my life, right? And what I mean is this, அதாவது when we இப்போ வந்து ஒரு intense fear, intense emotion நம்மள்ட்ட இருக்கு. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இன்டென்ஸ் எமோஷன் ஆஃப் ஒரு பயமோ என்ன ஃபியூச்சர்ல நடக்கும் அப்படின்ற ஒரு எமோஷனோ இருந்தா, 3 ways in which we can react. 3 விஷயமா 3 வேவா we can react. Number 1 is this, where we can give up. இது ஒண்ணுமே பண்ண முடியாது, this is something we have to give up, we sign off, right? That is one. ரெண்டாவது என்னன்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னு சொன்னா indifferent. Okay, what I can do, I mean, just to stay indifferent. So when we stay indifferent, one of the biggest challenge is this, நம்ம மேபி வீட்டில் இருக்கலாம், பட் ஒரு 10% of manpower are fighting it out, putting their life, right? Maybe ஒரு போலீஸ் ஃபோர்ஸா இருக்கட்டும், இல்ல sanitation workers அவங்க இருக்கட்டும், and also the set of people who are like say primarily the doctors, அவங்க எல்லாரும் they are putting all their life to fight out this, right? So we can't stay indifferent, we have to be aware of what's happening. But the மூணாவது choice என்னன்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னு சொன்னா, we can use this emotion of fear, emotion of uncertainty to do something meaningful in our life. So இத வந்து because the toughest task of human life என்ன, what is the most toughest task of human life is thinking, right? What we don't do so easily in our life is sit and think. Why we don't think? Because we don't have the time. You wake up in the morning and then you are all along busy through the life, right from the morning till the late evening. You are like completely tied up. You are doing so many tasks. You have to take care of your job, you have to work with respect to our children. I mean, completely you have a lot of things to do, so your day is so packed, so busy. Even for a weekend we have a schedule, right? Even if you say it is a Saturday, Sunday, you have a full schedule done for those days. So what happens is this, in human life it becomes too difficult to think. We all have standard set of patterns to do in life. So now what happened? We had the biggest pattern break. We had a pattern break, which means we are forced to sit in a place and do something different than our normal routine. So how you can make this time the most useful way? Do something which is the toughest part of the human life, which is actually sitting and thinking about your life, right? How you can relook your life, what are all the areas in which you can redo your life. That is something what you can possibly do. Why I am telling you you have to do it, because I will tell you this, when you say, I will teach you one wonderful formula. The event, most of the times, event outside us we can't control, right? Which assume I'm calling it as E, right? Event can't be controlled many a times. Event is equal to the outcome. Event is not the outcome, right? Outcome is what we get out of it. Event is not the outcome. Event plus the response what we choose. We have the choice to choose our response. We have a choice to choose the response what we have. Say at this point of time, it is a time to choose your response. என்ன மாதிரி ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் நம்ம சூஸ் பண்ண போறோம்ன்ற சாய்ஸ் நம்மள்ட்ட இருக்கு. So as I said, the response of this, we can decide to make this as the worst experience in our life, or we can decide to make it as the most, I'm not telling the best experience, the most meaningful experience of our life. The choice is yours, right? How to make this as the most meaningful experience. How to make this as one of the experiences which will redefine, which will make your life far, far better than what it was before. See, as I said, you can't taken away by intense fear. It's not useful, right? You can't taken away by a lot of fear, because when you allow yourself to be taken away by fear, you don't take meaningful actions. And number two is this: you can't stay indifferent. That is also not possible. Why you can't stay indifferent? The moment you stay indifferent, you deny the reality. Right? There are a lot of negative things happening. There are a lot of challenges which are happening. You can't be completely away from it, because if you completely stay away from it, what happens? You never feel thankful. If you don't feel thankful, what happens? Because you need to feel thankful for certain set of people. You need to feel thankful for doctors, the police force, the people who keep the entire city, entire place so clean, right? If you feel thankful, that is exactly when you can keep away your emotion of fear away. Otherwise, you will be overwhelmed by fear. And the third option is this: where you accept that fear and use that fear as a driving force. The fear of future, the fear of career. If some of you say, oh, I'm not bothered about all those things, the fear of your children's future, right? Right now, I address almost a lot of parents, a lot of teachers every day, right? So if you go ahead, check, each and every one of them have the fear of future with respect to their children, to respect to their students, to respect to their career. So how to use all these emotions, whatever you have, in a very meaningful way, so that it has a positive impact on your future. Because this event you can't avoid. This event is happened, started, right? All those things, you don't have a choice to avoid it. So only choice what you have is the response, what you choose. What kind of response you are going to choose. Because unfortunately, human life is somewhat very equivalent to what happens in the life of an elephant, right? I'll tell you a short story. When the elephant is very small, you know how they control the elephant? They tie one of the legs of the elephant, and the other end of the chain is also tied on, right? Is to a pillar or a post. And will the elephant will stand in one place? Not exactly. The elephant will do everything wanting to break the chain and move away. But will the elephant will be able to do it? Cannot, because the elephant is too small. It's not having the enough strength to break the chain and move on, right? But understand this. Understand, over a period of time, the elephant becomes stronger and stronger, right? The elephant becomes stronger and stronger, and the chain becomes weaker and weaker. Am I right? Right? The question is this: whether at some point of time will the elephant will have all the strength to break the chain and move away? Yes or no? Definitely yes. But what the elephant will do? It will stand in one place and it will remain there for lifetime, right? Because this particular thing, I got it done as a picture in one of my very first books, right? Sweep through your interviews. So if you go ahead, check, one end of the chain is tied on to one of the legs of the elephant, and the other end of the chain is actually let loose. The question is this: whether the elephant can move? Definitely yes. But whether the elephant will move? Not exactly. So what really stops the elephant is not the chain, is what is running in the mind. So the same thing true in human life. Human life, இதே தான் fact, right? இதே தான் உண்மை. என்னன்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, உங்களோட கேப்பபிலிட்டியோ, உங்களோட say what you can possibly do will never stop. So why I'm telling you this? Because over a period of time, we started having a chain. இதுதான் நம்மளோட routine, இதுதான் நம்மளோட habit. Even now, இப்ப கூட பாத்தீங்கன்னு சொன்னா, once கொஞ்சம் relaxation வந்தோன்னா, first thing what most of the people want to do, maybe because of economical reasons, first they want to get back to their regular routine, right? So whatever thinking you did in the past set of maybe months, I think now we are almost close to 2 months, right? How you are going to redefine your life, how you are going to press that reset button in your life, that is the most important part. What is it you are going to do something differently at this point of time? Some of you think, oh, we are going to be out of whatever we are seeing right now. I mean, it may or may not be the fact. We are really not sure when we are going to be out of all these things, right? But If you ask me whether you have a choice to redefine something for yourself, definitely yes. You have a choice to redefine something for yourself. That choice you have, right? And that is a phase you are in. So it is a time for you to reset something or press that reset button in your life. So that is the phase we are in. And apart from it, if you ask why it is so important to rethink your life, redo your life, right? I will tell you a real life happening. I'm just going back in time. This happened in the year 1954, where the entire world believed no human being can cross a distance of 1 mile in less than 4 minutes time, right? And the question is, if you cross, what happens? There are doctors who stepped out to vouch. If you do it, maybe you can't survive any further, right? You may, I mean, your body cannot support that size of metabolism. You cannot survive. That's what even doctors said, right? So at that point of time, so there was a person. I mean, a lot of people wanted to break that, say, whatever barrier. And at this point of time, there was a person by the name Roger Bannister who actually crossed this distance of 1 mile in 3 minutes 3 minutes 0.59 minutes, right? 3.59 minutes. He actually crossed that distance. And what happened? He survived through that. And this happened on 6th of May 1954, right? And the most interesting part is not Roger Bannister doing it on 6th of May. The most interesting part is this: between 6th of May to 31st of December, another 30 people did what he did. Are you getting it? So, which means whatever we all thought was not possible till a particular time, over hundreds of years, the moment one person did it, over 30 people did it. And the next year, 1955, over 300 people did what Roger Bannister did. And in the future, or even today, if you check, a lot of athletes can actually do it. Why I am sharing you this? Because, or why I wanted to share you this, because if you go and check certain restrictions, whatever we may have, this is a moment which has been captured at that point of time. Certain restrictions, whatever we may have right now, is predominantly is because somebody else have not done. So we are in that, because that particular mile what he has crossed was called as a miracle mile, right? And that phenomena, what he did was, what he created is called as a Roger Bannister phenomena, right? So we are in that Roger Bannister moment right now. So if you go ahead check, if you really check life, where we are in life right now, we have that option of creating that Roger Bannister moment for ourselves, right? Something which is not done in the history, something which has not done in the past, that is something what we are going to break off. So if you ask, will this pass? Will this moment will pass in our life? Definitely yes, because I recall one of the very first books I read in the area of personal excellence, which is actually written by Robert Schuller, right? And the book titled "Tough Times Never Last, but Tough People Do." Right? இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு tough moment வந்து கட்டாயமா it will pass, right? We will pass through it, we will cross through this, but people who are tough, they will stay over it. That is something, what is the crux of that particular book. So if you ask, will we pass through this particular moment? Definitely yes, we will pass through this particular moment, because believe me, the truth is this, life is a cycle, right? There are certain things which happens once in a day, there are certain things which happens once in a week, there are things which happens once in a month, there are things which happens once in a decade. So the event like this happens once in a century, right? If you go back in history, in 1999, this has happened. That's a fact, right? What the world was calling it as a Spanish flu, right? This has happened in 1999 and 1919. So we are in 2020, right? So this is something happening. So the final message which I would like to leave with, post that I would like to take more of questions, right, is this. So what you have to do at this point of time, enna pannanum, right? See, as I said, we may have very little control on what is happening outside. Where we have the control is the response what you can possibly choose. So the most important part is you need to remain positive, right? Positivity is not a choice right now. Positivity is a must. You must have to stay positive. Why it is so important? Because I'm interacting with a lot of doctors, I'm interacting with a lot of psychologists day in and day out. That too in the past set of days, I'm bringing them online, I'm talking to them. One thing which is also scientifically proven is this: once you remain positive, the truth is this: your immune system works far better. Your immunity levels are far higher, right? Right now we don't have any mechanism to fight against what's happening outside. The only way to fight against it is having your immune system working for you, right, helping you to fight out what's happening. So if your immunity has to be higher, you need to stay positive, and remaining positive at this point of time is one of the toughest tasks. Why? Because you have been bombarded with lot of negativity all around. All across you, there is so much of negativity. So remaining positive is going to be one of the toughest tasks. How to remain positive? Stay focused on positive things. That is the only way by which you can remain positive. So that is not a choice, but it is a must right now. So with this, I'll call it as a session. So what I will do is this: I prefer to take a certain set of questions. Maybe you can either post your questions in the chat window, or you can come up on the screen, whichever way you are comfortable with. Please go ahead. If needed, I will also answer them in Tamil, because I have a set of people who may not be able to understand Tamil. So that was the reason I have to go ahead and talk most of the part in English, right? Please go ahead. Maybe you may have to unmute your audio.
Please unmute your audio and you can ask question to Mr. Vidya.
Yeah.
Or you can type the question if you want.
Yeah.
You have two choices.
Yeah, hi Vidya. Good to see you after a long time. This is Anup here from Qatar, Middle East. Can I ask one question, please?
Yes, Anup. Please carry on.
Yeah. I would like to know, of course, for us, half of the age has gone. What's the message we can pass on to our kids? Basically, like you train a lot of kids across the globe. So how you are motivating the young generation? So because of course it's a first time for us, but at a half of our age. But for youngsters, it's too early. They've just started their life. So how to keep them motivated?
Yeah, because Anup, interestingly, I have heard this actually from one of the teachers in my, just 2 weeks back when we started doing, in one of the online sessions where I was training teachers. This I actually heard from my co-panelist, right? She was actually mentioning this is the time to reset, press the reset button, right? Then I borrowed that particular, maybe you can call it as a jargon from her. As I said, right, even for whatever be your age, because I always quote the life of Colonel Sanders, who started everything when he's 65. I'm sure you are much younger than him, right? He started, I mean, Colonel Sanders is the person who started KFC. Some of you, if you're not aware of, because KFC is now, it's also an Indian known brand. They sell this Kentucky fried chickens, right? They sell fried chickens. If you go check his life, he started KFC when he was 65, right? 65 years old he started. So this particular experience, what we all are going through, which is unheard of, which we can never even imagine, is primarily for us to rethink our life, right? Whatever we thought, yes, it is done. It's it's a next phase, or my life is done, and it's predominantly my life of my children. So maybe this is something to tells us, not exactly, right? You can, it's time for you to reset your life, relook things, and also it is time for us to send some very powerful messages to our children, right? Many a times we take life for granted, right? I think children are going through some unbelievable experience, right? I'm sure almost the children across the globe do go through fear, right? Do go through certain very powerful learnings, right? It is, as parents, it is we who translate that to the children, right? We have taken a lot of things for granted. You can't believe not even one flight is flying right now, right? And across the globe, every vehicle is parked, right? Which we can't believe, right? You think of what's happening now. So we have something to say to the next generation. Say, are we going to say that in a very meaningful way, in a useful way? That is what is most important, right? Uh, as I said, uh, time for us to reflect life, time for us to think a lot, how to make life really more meaningful is what we need to really think. That is something what I have to tell you on.
Yeah. Thanks, Vidya. Yeah, good to hear this. Thank you.
See, in just to add up to what Anup was asking, in one of the sessions for parents, even I think on Saturday, I'm connecting with a good number of parents, right? I made a list of things, because the parent was asking, tell me a list of things what I should do, right? And luckily I just saw it handy. I'm just going to refer to that list, right? Which as a parent, what you should do, right? See, number one is this: teach your children how to handle intense negativity. I don't think we have ever seen this size of negativity in the past, right? This is the best time for you to teach how to handle negativity. And number two is this: share with them a lot of real, true stories of inspiration, because I always believe in real stories of inspiration. That's why even in this short speech, I was referring to Roger Bannister. Given a choice, I might have referred to Dr. Kalam. Given a choice, I might have referred to I mean, many of those set of people who have inspired me personally, right? And help them to break their regular patterns. Breaking a pattern is a brilliant way of connecting with your children, right? So spend your time in a completely a different way than whatever you were spending before. And if you feel any resistance from your children, we always say resistance means lack of rapport, right? Your rapport is to be improved, right? Figure out how you can possibly improve your rapport with your children, and always understand behind every behavior there is a positive intention, right? If your children are behaving in some way, believe me, there is a positive intention behind it. And teach your children, many a times life is unfair, right? Because always we expect life to be very fair. So this particular incident actually teaches us that life is unfair, right? I mean, why it is so important? That helps you to handle life in a better way, right? We don't expect always things to be so fair. So when you teach them life can be unfair, that helps them to handle their friends better, that helps them to handle their teachers better, because many children uh, feel they are taken for granted by their teachers, right? They need to understand teacher may be partial, friends may be unfair, so that gives them a lot of strength, right? And time to celebrate life, right? So these are all some of the points which I was sharing with uh, with exclusive parent session.
Yeah, there is one question from Mr. Ravi Govindsamy.
Right.
What are the specific approaches of parents to their children, especially during COVID-19 pandemic period?
Exactly. So that's something what I was listing down, because fortunately, because my table is all full of various conversations, questions what I had in the past sessions. So fortunately, this list was there on top. So I was just listing out from that list only. Right, it's time to make some wonderful connect with your children, which you never had before, whatever be the age, be it your teenage kids or be it your younger kids, or whatever it is. Yeah, some more questions. Maybe I can take about 2 more, then we'll call it as a session. I don't want to do the specific approach.
Okay, there is a question from Mr. Mohan Das. Hi Vidya, Mohan Das here. The session was wonderful and useful, inspiring. As usual, inspiring. As you rightly mentioned, everything has to reset. One of the changes that may be visible is in the area of cleanliness and sanitation surrounding our areas. Do you think that the new curriculum will add social consciousness in schools?
Definitely, yes, because I mean, schools are planning to add pandemic as one of the key topics, right? I mean, also children will connect far better. They have seen it live. So social consciousness is a must. As I said, for certain areas in life right now, we don't have a choice. It's not a choice. Like feeling positive is no more a choice, right? If you need to be alive, you need to feel positive, right? I was interacting with set of psychiatrists also in one of the sessions a few days back, and I was just validating this thought. I mean, on the scientific way, on the medical. Say in the medical, as a medical science, then they said, yeah, definitely it is a fact, it is a truth. Social consciousness, yes, Mohandas, it is a must right now, right? We must have to impart it to our children. I mean, they need to know more things about their responsibility, because they have seen it live, how large number of people putting their life in line and then fighting for us. It is not only that. If some of you had the choice to look at how the migrant workers are fighting for their life, that is the day you will feel how gifted you are. Right, that moment. See, just for that understanding, maybe your children have to see, not to get influenced negatively, but the message you may have to sit with your children to translate it in the right way. When you look at the migrants, you need to feel thankful. You need to feel gifted, right? And those kind of messages are very powerful for children, which will remain with them for lifetime. Right? I mean, as you wake up in the morning, we always say if your body is working fine, you are gifted, right? So it is much beyond that. If you're still are able to connect here, be part of this session, right? You need to feel a lot of things are fine in your life. So you need to feel thankful. Definitely, yes, we need to impart it to our children. Right. So at this point of time, I'll call this as a session. Thanks for taking time to connect with me, connect with all of us here. So thanks a lot. And thanks, Rajkumar, for putting together this particular session. So from Only Success, I also thank Lakshmi and Sampath for being part of this session. Thanks all of you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Hindu, for arranging this session. All of you stay safe, actually. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.